KilKare Speedway, and no, we haven't gone back in a time warp. We have the vintage, I think it's called the Vintage Car Club of Racing Association, something like that here. I'm sorry, I don't have the name in front of me. But anyways, vintage race cars that all these owners have restored. Beautiful, beautiful machines. These guys do travel around to different places around the area, and if you get a chance, you should look at these fine vehicles. They will bring back some memories. Plus some of our local street stock and pure stock, mini stock, modified, and late model cars out there on the track, signing autographs and letting people take a look at their cars. Some more of the vintage race cars. Also, speaking of vintage race cars, the Legends cars are here tonight. Plus, we have our new toy. Our brand new digital video camera will premiere tonight on the backstretch with Bill Yo, and plus our new video mixer that we're using to edit this with. So sit back and relax and enjoy this KilKare Speedway racing action. All right, our first team race of the night are the Central Ohio Legends cars. Inside row number 1, that's the 68 of Greg Boyd. Outside of him will be the 8 of Tim Williams. Inside second row, 31, Terry Schurer. 75, Ronnie Souders. 41, Tony Celebrezzi. I missed a car, 88, Mike Ladman. And the 61 of Chuck Denny. The car missed was the 2 of Mike Brodus. And also the 51 machine. Got to go to my cheat sheets. Roger Baker in 51. In a moment, the green flag.
The number 40 race underway. One more time around the KilKare Speedway Oval.
Your leader. Running second is the 8 of Tim Williams. Third belongs to the 75 of Ronnie Souders. Goes to work on the Roger Baker machine as Baker goes to the inside of Terry Scherz, 3 wide down the front straightaway As the white flag comes out, we got a good battle going on for third position. And coming out of turn number 4, your winner will be car number 8, Tim Williams. Second will go to the 75 of Souders was second. Oh, excuse me, the 31 of Terry Schurz was second. And beyond that, I'm not real sure. No doubt about your winner, car number 8, Tim Williams. And he raced number 2 for the Legends cars pulling up on the track. In a moment, they'll line up. Chuck Denny on the front row, Larry Bales outside of that car. And the 0 of Ken Rice, 59 is Brian Knuckles. 58 is Pete Alexander. 27 is Buck Sloan. 9 is hit my cheat sheets. I'll give you the rest of the lineup in just a moment. Let me hit my cheat sheets and remind myself. Missy Edwards is back in the pack in the 9 car, and I still have one car. I can't remember who that is right now. And that was a false start. Track starter, official track starter, Larry Betty's not liking the start of that one. Got to get him realigned and get a restart here in just a moment. Complete 2-wide restart. In the back with Missy Edwards on the outside is the 14 of Dave Dysart. Sorry, Dave. That's a 66 of Chuck Denny. And we're going to take a look at what we have on instant replay, see if we can find out and discover what happened to Chuck Denny. And from Bill Yo's camera, we're in turn 3. Now we don't actually see Chuck Denny, or Jeff Denny actually in the 66 car. We don't actually see him hit the wall, but if you watch, you'll see the car right as it comes out of turn 2, just shoot right towards the wall. And you can hear the little pump in the background as cars come past you, as Jeff Denny excuse me, hit the wall very hard down the back straightaway. He's okay. We'll clean up the problem and get back to racing in just a moment. And Jeff Denny and the number 66 getting the Jimex towing Escort off track, and you can see the badly damaged right front grill. I'll step out, throw a rock on the right from my left here. But right front grill badly damaged on the Jeff Denny machine. Hopefully he can get it repaired before the feature tonight. In a moment, we'll be back to Green Flag Racing. On the restarting will be Ken Rice, Brian Knuckles, Buck Sloan, I know that the 27 car is Brian Sloan. I just wanted to see if anybody was listening out there. The white flag, so your winner, car number 0, Ken Rice, coming home second. Brian Knuckles and Brian Sloan finishes third. Beyond that, I'm not really sure.
We still have one more heat race to go for all of our National Citibank heat races and our NASCAR Weekly Racing Series division still to come here.
Mark Rice on the front row of this one, and the 10 car outside of him. 4 is Pat Flanagan, 16 Bill Southworth, 25 is the Buck Sloan machine. Let's see, who else do we have out there? 00 is Bill Linden. 63 is Scott Walter. 6 is Bill Bickley.
And number 3.
And in a moment, the green flag.
Atlantic Chevrolet Blazer down into the infield.
Chatterbox.
That vehicle. Green flag in hand. Flag was right. And getting the start, Mark Rice.
Mark Rice wasted no time. He pulls out to the lead on this one. The 10 car is running in second. That is Larry Martin in car number 10. Now Martin falls back to third as Pat Flanagan gets around for second. Now battling for second as the 10 car continues to sit back is the 25 of Buck Sloan. And now Sloan takes over the second position. 11 of Mark Rice, still your leader. Bill Bickley running in fifth. He'll look to the inside of the 10 of Martin now. And Bill Bickley still side by side with the 10 machine of Larry Martin. Still your leader. Buck Sloan running second, and Pat Flanagan still holding on to third. Actually, less than a lap. And Mark Rice, just that quickly, takes the win. And the 11 machine coming home second. And we got one spun down the backstretch. That is the 10 car of Larry Martin. Second went to the 25 car of Bud Sloan. Third to Pat Flanagan. And rounding out your top four was the number 6 of Bill Bickley. Once again, your winner, car number 11, Mark Rice. And now the mini stock heat race pulling up on the track. Frank Harvey and Ron Wells on the front row. Eddie Flora inside row number 2. Outside, I believe, was the Jerry Moore machine, number 60. Then it's the 2 of Randy Donahue. Give you the rest of the lineup in just a moment. Also out back there is the Sean Sparkman number 71 machine and the 99 of Rick White. And I don't have a name on the 24 machine. I know that's not Rick Bates. I want to say Randy Owens is the man's name, but I'm not sure, so I'm not going to say anything. Number 24 out there. Green flag. And caution comes right back out. False start.
Got the 99 of Greg Wright outside of him, the number 24 of Rick Bates, and rounding out the field is the number 71 of Sean Sparkman. So Dan Hem's green flag in hand, looks over the field.
Still your leader. Once again, your winner, truck number 45, Eddie Flora.
Taking care for the race. They line up.
Heat race number 1 for the Pure Stocks, Brian Cottrell, Craig Conover, Ken Burnett, Larry Hornback, Leonard Preston, and the 80 machine, which is the Matt McCartney 00, but tonight, driven by, going through my list here, Jeff Atherton in the 80 machine. In a moment, the green flag. Brian Cottrell. Fred Conover takes over second. Ken Burnett runs third.
Conover and Burnett. Further on back, 20.07 of Leonard Preston. And well back to the
It's still Cottrell, Conover, and Burnett, your top three, as Larry Hornback doing his best impression of Joey Chitwood down the front straightaway and into the infield. You might say that's Larry Hornback's weekly racing series spin. Brian Cottrell, your leader. Fred Conover still running second, trying to find a way around. He looks to the inside going into turn one. Can't quite get the job done as Brian Cottrell slams the door. White flag, one left to go for your leader, car number 75, Brian Cottrell. And your winner will be car number 75, Brian Cottrell. Coming home second is Craig Conover. Third will go to Ken Burnett in the 88. Fourth to the 07 of Leonard Preston. And rounding out your top five will be Jeff Atherton in the 80 machine. Once again, your winner, car number 75, Brian Cottrell.
We'll see how tonight's Heat win will fare for
Heat race number 2 for the Pure Stock. Chris Popall and Sean Miller on the front row with this one. Second row is Danny Suffren, Brian Roush, Brett Clark, and Gary Seitz. And Jeremy Everdeen in this one. In a moment, the green flag.
Dan Suffren and Brian Roush in row number 3 right behind the front two cars. Like that green flag in hand. Looks over the field. And we're underway for another
number 1 will be this 57 of Chris Popall. Danny Suffren and Sean Miller battle side by side for second. Fourth belongs to the 3 of Brian Roush. Now Suffren takes over that second position in the 28 machine and looks for a way around the 57 of Chris Popall. Brian Roush now runs third as Sean Miller falls back to the 4th position. Halfway, 3 laps in, 3 laps to go. Chris Popall still your leader. Danny Suffren running second. Brian Roush third. Sean Miller in fourth. White flag. 1 lap to go for your leader, car number 57, Chris Popall, as Danny Suffren was sideways down the front straightaway. And your winner will be car number 57, Chris Popall. Coming home second will be the 28 of Danny Suffren. Third will go to the 3 of Brian Roush. Fourth to the 24, Sean Miller. And rounding out your top 5 will be the 63 of Brett Clark. Once again, your winner, car number 57, Chris Popall. First heat race for the Pro Stocks. Clark Wolf and Ron Lewis, Jeff Wilson and Justin Miller, and the 3 of Daryl Norman.
Clark Wolf on the pole leads us down the back straightaway.
both sideways out of turn 4. Ron Lewis takes over the lead immediately and runs away with it. Jeff Wilson now runs second in the 97 machine, and we're going to get a restart.
Over again. So we'll get them all lined up.
Official starter, Larry Betty's. Tells them to line up again, boys, and in one lap we'll be going back to racing.
First Pro Stock Division heat race. 8th lap will be the distance. So you got Mark Ron Lewis leading them out of 3 into 4. Side by side with Wilson and Riverskin up on the field. And they go nose to tail. Wilson trying to get a pass out towards Wilson.
Your leaders Ron Lewis, Jeff Wilson running second, Mark Wolf in third. Wilson right on the back bumper of Ron Lewis. Looks to the inside, coming out of turn 4. Can't quite get the job done. Now side by side going into turn 1. And Jeff Wilson takes over the lead in turn 2. Halfway, 3 laps in, 3 laps to go.
Halfway gone by. Got the 25 of
flag, 1 lap to go for car number 97, Jeff Wilson, your leader. And your winner, car number 97, Jeff Wilson. Coming home second will be the 4 of Ron Lewis. Third will go to the 3 of Daryl Norman. Fourth to Clark Wolf, and rounding out your 5-car field was the 25 of Justin Miller. Once again, your winner, car number 97, Jeff Wilson.
It's going to be interesting when these cars head down.
Heat race number 2 for the Pro Stocks. On pole, John Maloney in the 12, 20, Ellis Lawrence Jr., 17, Virgil Powell, 52, Mike Miller. And out back, the 30 machine of Dale Taylor.
The 4th position, Ellis Lawrence, outside of him, Powell and Mike Miller, row 2, Dale Taylor. Right, we're underway for our second class Pro Stock National John Maloney in the number 12, Virgil Powell side of it.
Leader lap 1 was the 12 of John Maloney. Virgil Powell now looks to the inside going into turn 2. Powell down on the rumble strips in turn 2. Takes over the lead in turn 3. And Mike Miller follows him through. Your leader is the 78 of Virgil Powell. Mike Miller running second. Third belongs to the 20 of Ellis Lawrence Jr.
To the outside, alive there. Dropping down to the inside of the back straightaway. But Virgil Powell had that closed up.
Halfway, 3 laps in, 3 3 laps to go. And Mike Miller looking to the inside, down the backstretch, going into turn 3. Miller once again to the inside, down the back straightaway. And now takes over the lead coming out of turn 4. Mike Miller, your leader, as the white flag comes out. Okay, I can't count neither, all right? That's the white flag. 1 lap to go for Mike Miller, your leader. And coming out of turn number 4, your winner will be car number 52, Mike Miller. Coming home second will be the 78 of Virgil Powell. Third will go to the 20 of Ellis Lorenz Jr. Fourth to the 12 of John Maloney. And rounding out your 5-car field was the 30 of Dale Taylor. Once again, your winner, car number 52, Mike Miller.
Number 2 in our Pro Stock division. Glad you're with us here at KilKare Speedway on this Friday evening for some great racing action, not only in our NASCAR Weekly Racing Series division, but also with our Central Ohio Legend cars and our Vintage Auto Race Cars Association also on hand tonight.
Heat race number 1 for the late models pulling up on the track. Dick Dunleavy on the pole this one. Outside of him, the 33 Carl Stapleton. And it's the 2 of Dave Brandenburg inside row number 2. 70 Joe Hill outside of him. 91 Scott Drake. 34 Dave Ellis and 53 Russ Bob. And the 21 of Brian Coleman.
And rounding up the field in row number 4, the 53 of the Russ Bob. And the 21 of Brian Coleman.
Dick Dunleavy Jr., your leader. Carl Stapleton running second. Dave Brandenburg third. Battle for fourth between the 91 of Scott Drake and the 70 of Joe Hill. Still your leader, Carl Stapleton running second. Dave Brandenburg in third. Scott Drake now holds on to fourth with Joe Hill rounding out your top 5. White flag, 1 lap to go for your leader, car number 5, Dick Dunleavy Jr. And your winner will be car number 5, Dick Dunleavy Jr. Coming home second is Carl Stapleton. Third will go to Dave Brandenburg in the 2. Fourth to the 91 of Scott Drake. And rounding out your top 5 will be the 71 of Joe Hill. Once again, your winner, car number 5, Dick Dunleavy Jr.
Coming in second.
Race number 2 for the late models. 18 is Greg Stapleton. 72, Jerry Stapleton. 75, Gary Estes. 98, Chris Stubb. 22, John Vallow. 01, Gene Crace. 16, Rob Jacks. 43 is Will Spurgeon. The 0 machine is I Don't Know. And the 3 is Dave Barnhart.
Third row will have John Bell, Gene Crace, Robert Jackson.
Jerry Stapleton, 18, Greg Stapleton running in second, 75, Gary Estes third, the 22 of John Vallow holding on to the 4th position. 5th is the 98 of Chris Stubb at the moment. And now Vallow looks to the inside of Gary Estes going into turn 1. Stapleton, your leader. John Vallow now moving to the high lane, looking for a way around Greg Stapleton for second. Jerry Stapleton still your leader in the 72 machine. And we got one spin over in turn 2. I believe that is the 16 Robbie Jacks. Yes, sir. So that'll bring out a caution. And we'll get them realigned and get a restart here in just a moment. On the restart, it will be Jerry Stapleton, Greg Stapleton running second, John Vallow, Gary Estes, and Chris Stubb. White flag, 1 lap to go for your leader, car number 72, Jerry Stapleton. And coming out of turn 4, the only Ford in the field, the Ford Taurus, car number 72, Jerry Stapleton, your winner. Second will go to the 22 of John Vallow, third to the 18 of Greg Stapleton. 75 Gary Estes will finish 4th, and rounding out your top 5 will be the 98 of Chris Stubb. Once again, your winner, car number 72, Jerry Stapleton. Modified heat race number 1, 76 Frank Harris, the 11 of Dick Dunleavy Jr. 31 Don Fleming Jr., 1 Mike Carroll, 10 Mike Snap, 88 Dan Williams, 5 Sky Hinkle, 82 is Terry Flora, the 4 of Jim Bird, scratch that, the 4 of Charlie Davis, and I'm missing a car. In a moment, the green flag. And the car I missed was the 25 of Harry Smith. And we're about ready for the green flag. side-by-side battle for the lead. Frank Harris, sort of your leader a little bit of an edge that time across the stripe on Dick Dunleavy Jr. He's running on the outside. And then the 31 of Don Fleming Jr. and Mike Carroll side-by-side for the third position. Frank Harris now, your leader in the 76 machine. Dunleavy slips back just a little bit. Side for the lead. Frank Harris, slight advantage. That time once again across the stripe. Dunleavy pulls even down the back straightaway. That time slight advantage for Dunleavy going to turn one. Dunleavy down the back straightaway. Slight advantage once again. Still side by side for the lead and side by side for third. Your top four cars. One lap to go for your leaders, the 76 Frank Harris, Dunleavy, Don Fleming Jr., and Mike Carroll. And your winner will be car number 76, Frank Harris. Coming home second is Dick Dunleavy Jr. Third will go to the 31 of Don Fleming Jr. Fourth to the 1 of Mike Carroll. And rounding out your top five, car number 82, Terry Flora. Once again, your winner, car number 76, Frank Harris. He raced number 2 for the modifieds, Steve Rickard and Ralph Herod. Jerry Stapleton and Ed Lawrence. 58, Kevin Coleman. 42, Jim Lewis Jr. 18 is Jim Bird. And I know I missed one. 15 to Kevin Bloxham, and the 8 up of Wayne Watercutter. And the car that I missed was the 6 of Derek Barnett. In a moment, the green flag. And about to start our final heat race of the night.
And riding out the field on the inside of row number 5, the 15 is Kevin Bloxham. Outside of him, we're underway for our second
and your leader, car number 2, Steve Rickard. Battle for second between Jerry Stapleton and the 28 Ralph Herod. Slight contact in turn 1. Now Stapleton takes over the second spot. He'll set his sights on the 2 with Steve Rickard. Sachet out of turn 2 on Steve Rickard's part. Jerry Stapleton closes a little bit more. Coming out of turn 4, that was Derek Barnett, Kevin Coleman, and Jim Bird. Steve Rickard still your leader. White flag, 1 lap to go for car number 2, Steve Rickard. And your winner will be car number 2, Steve Rickard. Coming home second is the 3 of Jerry Stapleton. Third will go to the 28 of Ralph Herod. Fourth to the 22 of Jim Lewis Jr. And rounding out your top 5 will be the 17 of Ed Lorenz. Once again, your winner, car number 2, Steve Ricker. And that'll do it for the heat race action tonight. And is the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series late models. Continue their hot laps. We'll give you the lineup. Inside row number 1 is car number 98. That's Chris Stump. Outside of him, the 18, Greg Stapleton. Inside row number 2, car number 91, Scott Drake. And outside of him, the 33 of Carl Stapleton. Then it's Joe Hill and Dave Brandenburg inside and outside of row number 3. And in row number 4, car number 5, Dick Dunleavy Jr. and the 75 of Gary Estes. Row number 5, 01, Gene Crace and the 72 of Jerry Stapleton. Row number 6, 22, John Vallow and the 34 of Dave Ellis. Row number 7, car number 16, Rob Jackson, the 53 of Russ Bob. Row 8, 43, Will Spurgeon and the 0 of Jeff Wickman. Row 9, 3, Dave Barnhart and the 21 of Brian Coleman. So in just a moment, we'll be getting the green flag. We're experiencing some technical difficulties from our front stretch camera. Actually in the process of switching cameras. So first lap or so here will be from our new backstretch digital video camera, so we won't suffer too much. Nice clean digital video. In a moment, the green flag. Stump. Running second now, barely, is the 91 of Scott Drake. Now he takes over second from Greg Stapleton. Stapleton in third. Joe Hill holding on to that 4th position. And we got one spinning up turn 3. Oh, and hard contact. Will Spurgeon. Now Brian Coleman involved. Russ Bob was involved. Robbie Jacks was involved. Caution comes out. Let's take a look at that on instant replay. Stump, your leader. Scott Drake running second. Still Chris Stump, your leader, with Scott Drake holding on to that second position. Third belongs to, I believe that's Greg Stapleton in the 18s. Third. And the 70 of Joe Hill holding on to 4th. Stump. 91 Scott Drake running second. 18 of Greg Stephen, and then the 70 of Joe Hill, and the 33 of Carl Stapleton rounds out your top 5. 8 laps of the 30-lap feature now complete. Stump, your leader, 91 Scott Drake running second. Dave Brandenburg looks to the inside of Dick Dunleavy Jr. down the front stretch. They're side by side now. This battle for 6th position. And now Brandenburg runs in this position, and Gene Grace will be the next to try Dick Dunleavy Jr. on the inside. Halfway, 15 laps in, 15 more to go. Stump, still your leader. No doubt about that. About a 10-car lead on the 91 of Scott Drake in second. Then it's Greg Stapleton, Joe Hill, Carl Stapleton, Dave Brandenburg, and Gene Grace. And Gene Grace now battling in the back of the pack. Probably about the best battle on the track right now, as Brandenburg is up in that high lane and Grace down in the low lane. Now Grace gets around Brandenburg, and Vallow will be the next one to try to get underneath the two machine. leader is the 98 of Chris Stunt. And we got one spinning over in turn 2. That looks like the 53 of Russ Bob. So that'll bring us to caution once again, slow the field. Restart, it will be Chris Stump, Scott Drake, Greg Stapleton, Joe Hill, and Carl Stapleton. One left to go for your leader, car number 98, Chris Stump. Gallo and Dunleavy battling side by side a little bit farther back in the pack, but your winner will be car number 98, Chris Stump. Coming home second will be the 91 of Scott Drake. Oh, and contact. Problems with the Brandenburg machine. Contact with Gallo. And you see the tire bouncing down the front stretch. Once again, your winner, car number 98, Chris Stump. Coming home second is Scott Drake in the 91. The 18 of Greg Stapleton will be third. Fourth will go to Joe Hill, and rounding out your top five, the 33 of Carl Stapleton. Let's take a look on an instant replay, and let's see if we can figure out what happened. And the white flag just having come out, Vallow at the high side of Dunleavy. And then moves to the high side of Brandenburg, and watch the tire come off of Brandenburg's cars. That sends him straight into the wall, and unfortunately John Vallow also right there in the 22 car. So no fault of Dave Brandenburg, the tire just coming off the vehicle.
Goes around the track.
And we can see Dave Brandenburg talking to Earl Isaac and the crew, so he is okay. Once again, your winner, car number 98, Chris Stump. And our next feature of the night will be the mini stock feature. And they're going to line up this way. Inside row number 1 will be the 45 of Eddie Floor. Outside him, number 6, Ron Wells. Row 2, 17, Frank Harvey, and the 60 of Jerry Moore. And then in row 3, truck number 24, Mystery Driver. Not sure of the name on that one. And our first car of the event, Randy Donahue in car number 2. 71 is Sean Sparkman in the 99 of Greg White. And then in row number 5, out back, truck number 10, Brian Brewer. In a moment, the green flag. Second, third belongs to the Frank Harvey machine, and the 60 of Jerry Moore in fourth. back bumper, and then 17 of Frank Harvey and the 60 of Jerry Moore. Those four trucks linked up in a freight train. A little bit of space back to the mystery driver, truck number 24. Leaders go around the 71 of Sean Sparkman, putting him another lap down. Still Eddie Flora, your leader. Second belongs to Ron Wells, third to Frank Harvey. Spins right in front of the leaders down the front stretch, and that's going to bring out a caution. On the restart it will be Eddie Flora in the 45, Ron Wells in the 6, the 17 of Frank Harvey, the 16 of Jerry Moore, and the 2 of Randy Donahue. Still your leader, Ron Wells running second, but he has Frank Harvey all over his back bumper. Now Jerry Moore those on the Frank Harvey machine. White flag, 1 lap to go for your leader, car number or truck number 45, Eddie Flora. And your winner will be truck number 45, Eddie Flora. Second will go to Ron Wells. Third to the Frank Harvey machine. Fourth to Jerry Moore. Rounding out your top 5 will be the 2 of Randy Donahue. And we got one spinning down the front straightaway. That's the 71 of Sean Sparkman. Excuse me. One too many Coca-Colas. Once again, your winner, truck number 45, Eddie Flora. And kind of a new feature that KilKare's added here in the last few weeks is kind of spotlighting one of the divisions every week, having to come out and park out on the front straightaway and then announcing the drivers individually. While this is going on with the track, we're going to give you the modified NASCAR Weekly Racing Series feature event lineup, and they're going to line up this way. The car number 58 of Kevin Colvin inside row number 1. Outside of him, the 3 of Jerry Stapleton. Inside row number 2, car number 76 Frank Harris and the 82 of Terry Flora. Row number 3 is car number 2 Steve Rickard, and outside of him, the number 10 of Steve Snap. Row number 4, car number 28 Ralph Herod and the 25 of Gary Smith. And in row number 5, car number 17, Ed Lawrence, and the 11 of Dick Dunleavy Jr. Row number 6, car number 1, Mike Carroll, and the 31 of Don Fleming Jr. And in row number 7, 88 Dan Williams and the 42 of Jim Lewis Jr. Row number 8, 5 Sky Hinkle, 18 Jim Bird. Row number 9, 6 Derek Barnett and the number 4 of Charlie Davis. And in row number 10, the 15 of Kevin Bloxham, and outside of him, the 8 up of Wayne Watercutter. So in a moment, we're going to have the green flag for the modified feature tonight.
My best buddy, Mike Carroll. Kevin Corbin in that 58 with Gary Staples right outside of him.
Gary Staples coming out from that outside pole seat to the lead. He'll lead lap number 1. Second belongs to the 82 of Terry Flora. Third is Kevin Collin, and the 76 of Frank Harris running fourth right now. Stapleton in the 3 car, still your leader. Second is the 82 of Terry Flora. Third is still Kevin Collin, then Frank Harris and Steve Rickard rounding out your top 5 at the moment. Steve Rickard on the inside. The Ralph Herod machine on the outside. And Mike Carroll also right there on the outside. As Carroll now moves up, trying to find a way around. The leader still the 3 of Jerry Stapleton. Steve Rickard looking for a way around and does get around the 76 of Frank Harris. And now your leader encounters some lap traffic. Kevin Bloxham will be the first one in line that he'll start to work on. And next will be the Charlie Davis machine. Both leaders making around. Terry Flora now right up on the back bumper of the 3 of Jerry Stapleton. Stapleton moves to the high side of Charlie Davis. And the 4 car goes the lap down. And we still got this battle going on a little bit farther back in the pack. Steve Rickard, Mike Carroll, Kevin Collin, among others. All battling side by side. The leaders continue to lap traffic. The 8 car of Wayne Watercutter just going a lap down. Mike Carroll and Steve Rickard battling side by side out there. And we got one spinning over in turn 3. That's the 25 of Gary Smith. He finds a fire under the machine, pulls it into the infield. So far, we stay green. I don't believe there's anything on the track. As 25 of Gary Smith calls it a night. And there's your leader, car number 3, Jerry Stapleton, with the 82 of Terry Flora right on his back bumper. Flora has been right there all race long and can't seem to find an advantage. Can't really close on him and can't really move up to the high lane or try to get around as we got one problems over in turn 2. I believe that was at 31, a Don Fleming Jr. sideways. By the time the camera had gotten to him, he had gathered it back in, but Don Fleming Jr. all the way sideways over in turn 2. To go for your leader, car number 3, Jerry Stapleton. Actually less than that. As Jerry Stapleton comes out of turn number 4, he will take the checkered flag. Coming home second will be the 82 of Eddie Flora. Third will go to the number 1 of Mike Carroll. Fourth to the 11 of Dick Dunleavy Jr. And rounding out your top 5 will be the 58 of Kevin Coleman. Once again, your winner, car number 3, Jerry Stapleton. Jerry Amari. And our next feature of the night will be the Legends cars. And they're going to line up this way. Inside row number 1 will be the number 8 of Tim Williams. Outside of him, the number 0 of Ken Rice. Row number 2, the number 11 of Mark Rice. And outside of him, the number 2 of Mike Brodus. Row number 3, car number 59, Brian Knuckles. And outside of him, the 25 of Buck Sloan. Row number 4, car number 51, Roger Baker. And the 27 of Brian Sloan. Row number 5, car number 4, Pat Flanagan. 88, Mike Gladman. Row number 6, 14, Dave Dysart. And the 6 of Bill Bigley. Row number 7, 31, Terry Schurz. 93, Larry Bells. Row number 8, 00, Ben Dinden. 75, Ronnie Souders. Row number 9, number 9, Missy Edwards. And the 63 of Scott Walter. Row number 10, car number 41, Tony Celebreze. And the 58 of Pete Alexander. Row number 11, Bill Southworth. And the 16 and the 68 of Greg Boyd. And row number 12, car number 10, Larry Martin. And the 61, of Jeff Denny. false start. Caution comes back out. That car spinning over in turn 2 also. I don't know if that was for the reason or if it was a false start. At any rate, we got caution on the track. We'll get them realigned and get a restart here in just a moment. Complete 2-1 restart. Wastes no time, jump into that lead. Son Mike Rice runs second. Third belongs to the 59 of Brian Knuckles. Knuckles now looks to the outside of Mark Rice coming out of turn 2. There's oil or something on the track. Brian Knuckles slams into the turn 1 wall. Several other cars have spun. And obviously that's going to bring out a caution as Brian Knuckles, among others, getting caught up in some sort of fluids that came out of a car, one of the lap cars coming down the front straightaway. And you can see the right front wheel is not going in the right direction in Brian Knuckles. So looks like his race is done. We're going to clean up this mess. Let's take a look and see what we got on instant replays. First from the front stretch camera, my camera. And we see Mark Rice slows down. Brian Knuckles does not. And Knuckles gets in that oil. It's not a turn and slam into the turn one wall. And now from the Bill Yo cam, or the DV cam, over in turn 3, Brian Knuckles. You get in oil, cars don't steer. Ouch. On the restart, it will be Ken Rice, Mark Rice. Third now goes to the 27 car of Buck Sloan. And you can see all the dust being kicked up, a lot of oil dry put down on the front stretch going into turn 1. Straightaway, and Mark Rice just that easily takes the lead, and Ken Rice falls back to second. Mark Rice your leader, Ken Rice running second. Buck Sloan in 25 runs fourth. Mark Rice still your leader. Laps winding away. One lap to go for Mark Rice, your leader. And your winner will be car number 11, Mark Rice. Coming home second will be Dad, number 0, Ken Rice. Then Brian Sloan in the 27 will finish third. Fourth will go to Buck Sloan in the 25 car, and rounding out your top 5 will be car number 2, Mike Otis. Once again, your winner, car number 11, Mark Rice.
So, on the track, the first and second place battle went to Mark Rice over to Dan Kenright. Comes around.
And as Mark Rice enjoys a victory lap, the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series Pure Stocks pull up on the track. And they're going to line up for their feature this way. Inside row number 1, car number 75, that's Brian Cottrell. Outside him, number 57 of Chris Poppaw. 88 is Ken Burnett. Outside him, the 28 of Danny Suffren. Row number 3 is car number 3, Brian Roush, and the 6 of Craig Conover. And in row number 4, car number 1, Jeremy Everding, and the 24, Sean Miller. Row number 5 is 63, Brett Clark. 73, Larry Hornbeck. Row number 6 is 07, Leonard Preston, and the 98 of Gary Seitz. And in row number 7, car number 80, Jeff Atherton.
Thank you. Boy, that was a tough one. I'll tell you what. Primary fire was going.
Cars getting together over turn 4. Jeff Atherton and Larry Hornback. Everybody keeps going, though. Your leader is at 75 of Brian Cottrell. Ken Burnett running second, Brian Roush third, and then Chris Poppaw running fourth. Got to bring on the backstretch. And Jeff Atherton slow down the back straightaway in the 80 machine. Car is falling off as we speak. Caution. That's a little bit of a precarious spot for him to be sitting. No caution yet, though. And now caution does come out. Yellow comes out for the stranded 80 car. You can see that or not, but on the back of the car, it says in memory of Rex Bettings. Rex, we're still thinking about you. On the restarting will be Brian Cottrell, Ken Burnett, Brian Roush, Chris Poppaw, and Danny Suffren. Looks to the high side of Chris Poppaw coming out of turn 2. And Craig Conover tries to poke his nose on the inside of Danny Suffren. 75 of Brian Cottrell. Looking to the inside, down the back straightaway. Contact in turn 4. A little rubbing racing. Ryan Roush closing on the Ken Burnett machine. For your leader, car number 75, Brian Cottrell. And your winner will be car number 75, Brian Cottrell. Coming home second will be the 88 of Ken Burnett. Third will go to Brian Roush in the 3 car. 57 Chris Popall will finish fourth, and rounding out your top 5 will be the 28 of Danny Suffren. Once again, your winner, car number 75, Brian Cottrell. And as Brian Cottrell celebrates over in Victory Lane, we're getting ready for our final feature of the night, which will be the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series Pro Stocks.
Here at KilKare Speedway.
Inside row number 1, car number 78, that's Virgil Powell. Outside of him, 14, Clark Wolf. Row number 2, car number 12, John Maloney, and the 3 of Darrell Norman. Row 3 is 25, Justin Miller, and the 28 of Ellis Lawrence Jr. And in row number 4, car number 97, Jeff Wilson, the 4 of Ron Lewis. Row number 5, 52, Mike Miller, and the 30 of Dale Taylor.
Divisions plus. Wow, first keep an eye on Wilson and Lewis. They're battling for that point lead. And rounding out the field in row 5, Mike Miller.
And we got him spinning just as they take the green flag. It looks like Darrell Norman in the 3, one of the cars over there in turn 2. Also the 12 of John Maloney sitting up there on the high side, up on the bank in the infield. Caution comes right back out.
One more triple round. We'll get the
Complete 2 wide restart. Second, third belongs to the 12 of John Maloney. Oh, and contact. Mike Miller and brother Justin Miller both into the turn 3 wall. Clark Wolf also involved in that in the 14 car. I believe both drivers are okay, although the window net is still there. It comes down on the Mike Miller machine. And we see a header pipe along with part of the exhaust pipe laying down the front stretch. Obviously, this is a caution. Let's take a look and see what we got on instant replay. And first of all, from the Nate cam on the front stretch. Keep your eye a little bit farther back in the pack. You see the white car of Jeff Wilson on the outside. Look around at him, and you see the car spinning. That is Justin Miller. In the 25, the car just breaks loose. 52, Mike Miller with no place to go. Both cars hit the wall. Let's look and listen to it from the digital video camera Bill Yo's shot over in turn 3. And I'm going to shut up on this one. You just need to listen and watch. As my old dear friend Dick Roberts would say, on the restart, it will be Virgil Powell, Daryl Norman, John Maloney, Jeff Wilson, and Ron Lewis. And we might want to keep an eye on the Virgil Powell machine. I thought I was seeing some smoke out of that car. It might have been just brake smoke or tire smoke. Oh, and problems. Jeff Wilson spins. Clark Wolf into the back end of Wilson. It must still be pretty slick over there in turn 3. Caution back out. And Mike Miller assisting Virgil Powell in the infield. Problems with the 78, our leader. As the white flag comes out, Virgil Powell still trying to get into his car. Desperately trying to get back out here in this race. Daryl Norman, now your leader. The 12 of John Maloney will get second. 97, Jeff Wilson will have the third position. Fourth, Ron Lewis, and fifth, the 20 of Ellis Lawrence Jr. What a tough break for the leader of this race. Virgil Powell, problems, or thought he had problems underneath the hood of the car, was into the infield to check it out. Things are not as bad as he thought, and tough break. It's tough to say it, but that's when they say that's racing. But boy, that's a tough thing to hear. Jeff Wilson now moves to the high side of John Maloney, slipping and sliding through that treacherous turn 3 area. Jeff Wilson passed Ron Lewis just as easily as Maloney, and now is closing on your leader, the 3 of Daryl Norman. Closing on the 3 of Daryl Norman. Now about a car length separates your leader from the second place race car as Ron Lewis is closing back up on Jeff Wilson. All 3 leaders now are nose to tail on the track. Daryl Norman, your leader. Jeff Wilson running second. Ron Lewis in third. Wilson moves to the high side of Daryl Norman through turn 3. Coming out in turn 4, they're side by side. And now Jeff Wilson has the slight advantage over in turn 2. A little bit of contact down the backstretch. Jeff Wilson, your new leader. Daryl Norman back to second. Here comes Ron Lewis moving to the outside of Daryl Norman coming out in turn 4. Jeff Wilson, your leader. Daryl Norman running second. Third belongs to the 4 of Ron Lewis. backstretch. The 14 of Clark Wolf, he gets it going again. But not before we get a caution. And the green flag comes back out. Ron Lewis goes into the wall immediately over turn 1. Now Clark Wolf with a spin. Caution comes back out. And you can see the green flag coming out. Ron Lewis goes into turn 1 and overcooks it and slams the wall. And then Clark Wolf spins over in turn 1. And now from the Bill Cam over in turn 3. It just looks like Ron Lewis just lost it and slams the turn 2 wall. On the restart, Jeff Wilson, Daryl Norman, Ron Lewis, John Maloney, and Ellis Lorenz Jr. Jeff Wilson. Second will go to the 3 of Daryl Norman. Coming home third will be the 4 car of Ron Lewis. Fourth will go to the number 12 of John Maloney. And rounding out your top 5 will be the 20 of Ellis Lorenz Jr. Once again, your winner, car number 97, Jeff Wilson. I'd like to thank you all once again for buying this Pennstroke Productions At the Track videotape. Please keep in mind we not only videotape here at KilKare Speedway, but at Columbus Motor Speedway, following the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series. For your NASCAR Ohio video connection, Pennstroke Productions At the Track. For my wife Kim, my partner Bill Yo, our production assistants Mike Brown and Katie Moore, I'm Nate Pennington. We'll see you next week at the track.